both aspects, the physical and the mental, a little bit, and the spiritual, which I use the word more energy, because that's what we are, is energy. So what are we doing? So the point of that is consciousness and energy is the nature of reality. We create our reality. Each and everything that we experience, we created that. Today you're going to walk away knowing that you can create your reality and your experience. What is happening is that we eat nothing but acid foods, so that has brought our frequency down and we've become disconnected with our inner being. So it's not just about vegan and vegetarian, feeding the essence of what we are. So now it is time for us to begin to eat live food because we are alive. We eat nothing but dead food. And I'm not, with all due respect, I'm not coming here to tell you what to eat. I'm not going to come and clean the refrigerator out. And there's a lot of circumstances and a lot of elements that make the difference for what you could eat and what's available. Because what do we really want? We eat out of gratification. And what are we looking for each day? We just want to be happy. That we want to enjoy. But we want, the only way that we could do that really is to have the quality of life, the maximum, ultimate quality of life. And it starts with the food. So if we could begin to let go the dead animal, maybe. It's a habit. It's a dead animal. We understand. It is an animal with living cells. Living cells. And when it dies, those cells die. And when those cells die, it begins to decompose. And when it begins to decompose, it begins to rot. And wait, I mean, just one more part. And when it begins to rot, what happens? It turns to maggots. So what are you eating? Maggots, thank you. So we eat for gratification. When you think of what you're going to eat today, you get excited and you want, I don't know, chicken or fish. I don't know. I haven't ate meat in so long. I can't really think of it. It's been over 50 years, that I totally, completely let it go. So it is, say, oh, fish. I want some fish today. And then the thought, and then you get excited. It's the thought. That's not what feeds the body. It's the thought. And then you want that gratification. So at this point, it is breaking that habit. Not because somebody said so, because you want to live, and you're not living. You don't even realize what living is, to just be. What we eat is nothing but acid foods. Uric acid, lactic acid, carbonic acid. We eat nothing but acid food, and that's what begins to break the body down. And there's where disease begins. We've reversed AIDS and cancer and diabetes, and it's not, oh, I cured. No. And we're not coming as a healer. Sebi wasn't a healer. Sebi was a genius. but you got to be labeled as a biochemist. And he was a seer, to be able to, the mission is to bring us back home. To bring us back home. And what has taken us away is this food. It's about the food, and it's about the quality of life. The other part is to begin to, and I understand its habit and weaning off of, is to let go of that milk, the cheese, and the eggs, because it's acid, lactic acid. I know you feel like, well, what do we eat? That's acid. So now, where are we? Disease. We eat these foods and we have these disease. So understand the disease now. The food caused the disease, but what is the disease? You hear cancer, you hear leukemia, sickle cell anemia, high blood pressure, diabetes, you hear all these names. And what they do is they label them and they put them in categories. They're isolated. So when you say cancer, you say, oh my God, I have cancer. Or, oh, I have diabetes or arthritis or leukemia. But you isolate it there and you don't think anything outside of that box. So we've reversed. There's no incurable disease, only incurable people. But the way that we have approached it is different from the medical world. We're not doctors, we're not pretending to be doctors, nor are we giving you any medicine. It is looking at what the cause is, and that's why I started with the food. That it is the cause because it's the acid. Cancer didn't just pop in, didn't knock on the door. No. You don't have arthritis, like because you're older. There's no such thing as old. But as you get older, you get wiser and younger. But you have this pain in your knee or you have this pain in your joints. That's the acid that has eaten the cartilage. The asthma. You can't breathe. And the person wheezes and they have an asthma attack. That's mucus in the respiratory area. So they gave it a title and it's there and you can't breathe and they give you that inhaler to suppress it. But they didn't eliminate the mucus. But if you have sinus or an allergy, you're blowing your nose, you're blowing your nose, you're blowing your nose, it's mucus. An allergy, your eyes are running, your nose is running, but you separate it. Sinus is just because this is what they call the sinus area, so they gave it that name, but it didn't change. It's mucus. That arthritis is acid that's eaten at the cartilage. Okay. You see? And that's what we're doing, is we're creating this mucus that's causing these diseases. It's mucus, no matter which one we talk about. If we talked about leukemia, we were talking about it earlier. It's mucus in the red cells, and it's so much mucus in the red cells that they look completely foreign. The job of the white cells is to eat anything foreign. Okay. The red cells look foreign, so they begin to multiply, and eat the red. We go in and clean the red out. The white ceases. They no longer have leukemia. The white cells, their job is to eat anything foreign. This is leukemia we're talking about. Anything foreign. So we eat nothing but toxic food. So now the cells, the red cells, are full of so much poison and acid and toxins that it looks completely foreign. So now the white cells see this foreign thing, and so it begins to multiply, because that's the whole thing. They just give you the picture of the white cells are taking over. And what do? They attack with radiation. I'm gonna skip for a moment. So when you have cancer, what happens? You go to the doctor and what happens? They put you on radiation or chemo? So my question is, did they not say radiation causes cancer? So now why are they using radiation? And chemo is the same thing as radiation. It's just a different form, but they swear it's not. And how can it isolate itself into one area? You can't even contain radiation. It's through the whole body. When they do chemo now, they put a pellet under your tongue and it explodes. That's dropping a bomb if it ever was dropping a bomb. My point was, we got to look at it with all due respect for whoever believes in the doctor. I understand. But we got to take another look. So my point was, ask the question. 'Cause everybody says, we have hundreds and hundreds of clients, but they all say, my doctor said. And at what point, this is all due respect, at what point did they say they cared? They don't give you no smile, they don't show you no care, they don't show you no love. So my point is to ask that question again when it comes up, that chemo or that radiation. Like, okay, wait a minute, you said it caused cancer? Does this really make sense? I know maybe family members, and especially older people, it's hard for them to see that this is not helping you. Because what happens is you still die. Yeah. So it's for us to start seeing. It's for us to wake up. That's the point here, is wake up. Hello, knock, knock, wake up. For us to be able to see from a different perspective. And it's hard for us to see because food is a habit. And it is more than just feeding the body. When do we feed the spirit? So it's the combination of all. Because when we stop and be the observer and we stop and think about it, I know it's hard to see it. I know maybe it was years and years. But you're not really hungry. But being the observer, you will realize that altered self that we've created, that I say the wrong name, you could correct me. Fraud, I call him fraud, but you know, because he's a fraud. Said inner dialogue, I mean, he said ego. No, it's the altered self that we created. That's the one that's saying, oh, I'm hungry. That's who's talking. Because, wait. Who's talking? And who are you talking to? That's what controls that altered self, because you believe it to be. When I say who's talking, you say me. And who's me? And you say, I like this. I don't like that. And who's I? We really have created different personalities, but that's a whole nother subject. But that comes back to our energy being and really knowing that and being able to feed that. And that's where your joy really comes into. Your joy comes in there. And you, no matter what, no money, sick, everything, you will still experience the joy when we come back into self. So I want to say, enjoy the gifts of life. Enjoy. I never even thought about that part.
Yeah, but I did.
Because this is 48 years, and now I'm only surrounded by people that are really embracing this, and I never, that was a long time ago. A long time ago it started off, I know it's not supposed to be our conversation, but a long time ago it started off with, they were like, ugh. Sebi and I started way back in the 60s, the late 60s. And before all these people, and this was our love, this was our romance. And we would drive to Mexico, and that was our outing, like the way you take somebody out for a date. And so, and we would go and collect these herbs. So it wasn't about the fig tree, that's the name of the company. It was us going and collecting these herbs and meeting these different people and finding these herbs. And then we come home, and the way you would cook, we would cook these, put these, oh, let's put this in there, let's put that in there. So we began there, but what the people felt was, oh, that's voodoo. Oh no, I don't believe that. But because Sebi spoke Spanish, all the people in Mexico in the Latin community embraced it and were coming. They brought their brother, their sister, their cousin, their whole family. The whole family came. But us was like, mm-mm. And so now if somebody comes and says, do you have proof?
Yeah.
Do you have clinical studies? I'm like, no, don't bother me with that. I'm 70 yesterday. So I'm saying that in support with what you're saying. I forgot, because I don't live there, I forget the thoughts of people outside of this world, because I'm only in my world. I don't go outside. You see, I didn't go out today. So we've come a long ways. It's been 48 years, and what we're presenting is electric cell food. That's what we are. The body is electric. So we'll go into the questions.
Questions? Okay.
Just a few, just a little bit, just a little bit. I don't quite understand. I know that they've done it all over the world. Yes. Kabuverdi, which is Kabuverdi, is very special. Bila really has a beautiful, beautiful garden. He's setting a beautiful example. And if everybody could just kind of join in and you could grow and be bigger. It's green vegetables. I don't know what green vegetables grow here locally, but green leafy vegetables, because I'm automatically going to think kale. But do kale grow here?
No, I don't think so.
See, so I'm going to think any kind of green. Bila, what green vegetables are you growing? We can make it simple. I know, I understand. It's not an excuse, but I'm coming from the old school. I am not going to try to break it down, the scientific part. Sebi was the biochemist. He could break it down to the scientific part. What I know is alkaline food, which is the amount of velocity within the food, but green vegetables, because after you break it down, then what? And you break the chemical state of your body, that's still, with all due respect, still stuck in the matrix to try to break that down. And that was a discussion while I was here, but I stayed out of it. But it is, so after we do the numbers and break it down, and like, you could break water down, H2O, right? And you could break it down, all the molecules down, but it still comes back to you've got to drink this water for this oxygen that you need. You could break it down, iron, you need iron. Your body is made of minerals, potassium, magnesium, phosphate, sulfate. That's what your body is made of, though maybe that's what you wanted. Made of 102 minerals. And in feeding our body, it's not about food that tastes good and comfort food. It's what's really feeding our body, nourishing our body, strengthening our body, is eating the foods that have those minerals. Because putting those minerals in, then it's going to integrate in. So you need the iron, the phosphate, the sulfate. And the majority of the foods today do not have it because number one, it's GMO, genetically modified organism. That means they changed the whole genetic structure. Changing the genetic structure of it, the DNA, which is the RNA for the vegetable. What happens is when it enters the body, it clashes. And so now we've got disease. We've got, cancer, tumors, but it's nothing. That cancer, that tumor is nothing compared to now what that GMO is doing, because it's causing the cells to grow rapidly. Because it's still a cell, it's an infected cell. But I know I'm getting to the left. The point that you
can't translate.
Carbon is the base of life. It's the essential of life. Carbon is, everything, every single solitary thing on this planet, and they're kind of expanding past this planet, but everything on this planet that's alive must have carbon. It also binds with oxygen and hydrogen, because oxygen and hydrogen makes water, but it combines, but it's the fiber of life. There's nothing, not an animal, not a plant, not anything on this planet exists without carbon. It's the essence of makes that atom, what's making that atom up. That's the element, carbon, of life, the essential element, carbon. Melanin is, it's a chemical. The body is made of different kinds of chemicals, and it's one that protects, and it creates another chemical called, I can't say it, lacto something, CYTO. No, melatonin is, no, melatonin's the brain.
Yeah.
It's something, I don't know. But it creates another chemical, and those two chemicals combined is what protects, like the skin, the eyes, but it still needs carbon. It still needs carbon because everything that exists is it. But the difference is the carbon is the element of life, that no matter which area we're talking about, if we're talking about electrons, protons, because we're talking about the atom and we're talking about the core of it, that molecule, versus melanin is just a chemical substance that it has to combine with others, and what it serves its purpose because it's protecting.
Yeah.
It's kind of protecting, and it's, what would you say, kind of like a catalyst. Okay, first of all, understand what we are, electrical. It is your whole body is made of cells. Even if it's nerve cells, it's made of cells.
Okay.
Your fingernails, your finger, your hand, your teeth, your eyes, your heart, every part of your body is made of cells.
Okay.
So now, for that blood, the blood is a cell, right? For that blood to move, for your arms to move, for your heart to beat, for your colon to go in and out, those are electrical impulses that is allowing it to move. Everything, your eyes, for you to see, for your brain to function, everything, because it's the nerve. The nerve is like, just like the electric, for that light to shine, it's the electrical wires. It's the electrical wires for that light. The whole body is made of cells. The liver, the kidneys, the skin, the fingernails, the eyes, every part of the body is made of cells. The blood is cells. So for everything to move, within that cell is that atom, the electrons and the protons.
Protons, electrons.
They're going. That's the core of us being the electrical part that we are. But for it to move, it is the nerve, for that blood to move, for that heart to move, it's the nerve that's sending those electrical impulses. Like the light. It's the electrical wire that's there's a message that's being sent. It's the same thing with our body. For the heart to beat, the eyes to blink, for you to hear, for that brain, especially the brain, it's neural nets that's firing. Those are electrical impulses. Everything. There's no part of your body for you to, you feel that?
Yes.
That's the nerve. So when they cut, they interfere with that nerve. Anytime they cut, they're interfering. Totally. Melanin is just a chemical. It's a side. It's on the side. I mean, that's my layman words of it. It's not in the forefront of us. It's electrical that's in the forefront. And what we're doing is eating acid food and throw the acid on that electrical wire, it'll fuse out. Rice is causing tumors. The tumors, the breast tumors, the uterus tumors, is causing the discharge, and it's causing the pain that we have more intensely during your cycle. You know that intense pain that you have? It's that rice. That discharge, you're not supposed to have a discharge. Everybody has a discharge now. You're not supposed to have a discharge. That's that rice. But the rice is totally plastic. And you know what arsenic is, right? That's what, it's the same thing as eating rat poison. That's what you're eating, rat poison. It causes deafness, it's causing eye problems, it's causing brain problems. But as far as the female, these tumors, these cysts that these young girls have, because half of the young girls have cysts, it's affecting your prostate area the same way. Now you got prostate problem. All these men have prostate problem. You have that blockage in that urethra. And when you urinate, it's stop, go. And then a lot of times the urination comes out crooked. That's the rice. But what do you have? Prostate cancer. There's a regimen, there's a program that we take them on. It's herbal compounds that we make that's the main part of the program. There's a change of the eating habits according to how you eat, because I do the consultations and I do it individually according to that person and that country, because it's all over the world, so it's different people eat different ways. There is a program, there is a protocol. As your consular facilitating you through this program, I take you through as an individual, changing the eating habits, the herbal compounds that we make, because that's the electric cell food to bring your body, to change your whole body into an alkaline state, to reverse that particular pathology. But there's more steps to that program according to the person, because a person with HIV may be different from a person with cancer. I'm not a good example because a lot of times I don't eat. I have been eating a lot since I've been here, but I usually don't eat. What I have in the morning is sea moss.
What's sea moss?
And sea moss, it's the drink electric, but the sea moss is mixed with the bladderwrack and the chaparral. And so I make a smoothie drink, and that's in the morning. I don't really have breakfast. Fruit, that's what you should have in the morning, because you should have something light. Because they say, this is what they say, you're breaking a fast. That's what breakfast is. But the point of it is the real point is, from a nutritional aspect, is you want something light to go into the body so your digestive system can break it down. So it should not be oil and fried foods or anything like that. Fruit is something that's nice. And you could have plenty of it. You don't have to have just a banana. Have plenty of fruit. Have 2 papayas. And you could have 3 or 4 bananas. That's all I had this morning was papaya. It was like so good. And my sea moss. And then lunchtime, salad. A big salad. And lunchtime for me is like 3 o'clock. Because I don't eat really in the morning. Morning for me is 12 o'clock, 11, 12 o'clock is when I have my sea moss and the fruit.
So
'Cause-
you eat first at 12?
Yeah, that's the first time I put something in.
Primeiro você come meio-dia.
11,
11
12.
horas, meio-dia. Primeiro...
In the morning, I just don't want anything. I don't want water, I don't want nothing. But
And now
by
right now,
11 o'clock, I'm
11
saying, okay, let me feed the body. I love you, so let me feed you something, because I wouldn't eat if it was left up to me. So that's when I give it the sea moss, and then make sure, okay, nutritional-wise, you need to have some fruits, okay. But I put it in a, make it in a smoothie. And then 3 o'clock. Because I don't know the food here, it would be like, the main thing would be you would bring me back and we would do food demonstrations as far as replace. Because all I can tell you is the things to stop eating, and you can wean off of them. The first step is let go that milk, cheese, and eggs. That you can do, and you won't be starving. Let it go. And I know it's habit, so you're going to have to wean off of it, and that would be your first step, is letting go that milk, that cheese, that eggs, because that's breaking your body down. Then you would go into starting to begin to wean off, like pork would be the first step. Pork is a crossbreed of a rat, a rat, a cat, and a dog. That's what the pig is made of. So you're eating a rat. Begin to let those things go. Now, I have to know, okay, what are your eating habits to say, okay, then look, we could do this, because like, I don't know, so I can't really say, because I would say, okay, you have some green banana, but you said that wasn't what you eat, green banana, or I would say have some plantain. Well, just like they have an organization, then it's time for you to create an organization, because there are seeds, heirloom seeds, and they're underground, they're being sold in America, so it's making that connection, because everybody's trying, and so those seeds could be sold to you. Well, at this point, they're giving them away, like the heirloom seeds, the ancient heirloom seeds, because it is a conspiracy. We're in the middle of a biological chemical warfare. There's a conspiracy, and it is global. So it's to connect to who is selling these seeds and support them that's selling the heirloom seeds, because they're being sold underground. Because if they were sold online or open, they cut them off too. We have to not just think of, okay, change this food. Sorry. We have to think of not just changing this food. We have to come together like, it come together like the way we have this group coming together, and we really come together and we get the seeds, we grow our food like it was before, because they're not going to help you. So it's one person is growing the food, another person's getting those seeds, one person is just, I know you work, I know you don't have time, you may not have that space, but you grow that one in a flower pot. Yeah. You grow those tomatoes. Yeah, with all due respect, there's a whole bunch of people saying they're vegetarians. They're not vegetarians. Yeah. They're not vegetarians. Well, I don't know. They're vegetarians, and there's all different categories of vegetarian. They say they're vegetarian and they still eat meat. They still do this, they still do that. And there's a whole bunch of people saying, oh, I eat healthy, and they don't even know what healthy is. And they really say, I swear by they eat healthy. Salt was not for human consumption. Period. Think about it. A long, long time ago, and it may not have been that long ago here, there was no refrigerator, there was no electricity. What did they do with that dead animal? They put salt on it. They put salt on it. And what happened with when they put it on, they don't think, oh, it preserved it. No, it hardened the cells. So when you consume salt, it hardens the cells.
Endurece células.
And then there's this little fuzzy thing that creates, and it doesn't allow the oxygen to flow. It's only habit, because generation to generation to generation, that's what we had. So now you feel like you gotta have salt, including my own self. A lot of people think that it was Sebi, but Sebi was eating meat and pork. It had nothing to do with Sebi at all. What led me to it way before, Sebi and I were married 30 years. So everybody worldwide think, oh, it was Sebi, but it was the reverse, because Sebi was eating meat and lamb and all of that. But what led me was pain, because my stomach pain. I'm not a vegetarian, I'm not a vegan, I'm a plant eater, yes, but that meat, that oil, that meat, was causing pain, severe pain, where I would be curled over. And that cheese, oh my God, you can't even walk. So what made me stop was pain. So if you understand, when you have that pain, like it's so hard for females to understand, that cheese, that rice, when you have that pain, when you have your cycle, if you understood that that caused the pain, you'd stop eating it easily. Oh, what do I eat? Because the rice is your basic thing. But compare it to pain. If you had nothing to eat, you wouldn't eat that rice, but you would find something else. This, in that consultation, is to find out what you eat so that we can replace it. Because you need those replacers.